really show some interesting numbers, especially if you break down the Latino vote. 54% of the Latino vote went to Mitt Romney. And we know that there are some interesting issues when it comes to immigration with Mitt Romney as a candidate, and also the DREAM Act, et cetera, et cetera. We've got Representative Mauro Diaz-Balart, who is with us this morning. He is in... I think you're in the Russell Rotunda, if I see behind you. Nice to have you, sir. Thank you for being with us. You know, and I just mentioned that 54% of the Latino vote went to Mitt Romney, and you are a Romney supporter. But really, the state of Florida has a lot of Cubans and Puerto Ricans and not very many Mexicans. So in that way, Florida is not as representative of the United States, right? Because really the overwhelming population of Latinos in this country is a growing number of Mexican Americans. Do you see a challenge there for Mitt Romney?
You know, you're right about the demographics. However, on the issue of immigration, the Hispanics in Florida feel the same way as the rest of the Hispanics. So why did they support Governor Romney in such incredible numbers? Well, I think it's, borrowing a phrase from Bill Clinton. It's the economy, stupid. Connie Mack was right when he just said that a little while ago. The Americans are concerned about the economy. Obviously, that's the number one issue. Well, imagine Hispanics in Florida, it's almost 14% unemployment. So as much as non-Hispanics are concerned about not being able to create jobs, about the disaster that Obama has been, the Hispanics in the country are suffering much more for the failed policies of Obamanomics, so which is why you're seeing this huge support for Governor Romney. They see
Obamanomics. Is that the first time? I think you've just coined a word. Obamanomics. All right, I know. No, I'm wrong. Will Kane. Will says I'm wrong. No question, that's a talking point. All right.
Congressman, can I jump in? Ron Brownstein.
By the way, with all due respect, it is not a talking point. Hispanics, we can think on our own. We can create our own terms. And that's what it is. So with all due respect, that's my term. You're willing, I can give it up to you. You can use it whenever you want.
Good morning, Congressman. Good morning, Ron Brownstein. Quick question. You're right that Hispanics in Florida, Cuban Americans, and Puerto Ricans feel the same way about immigration, but it's not as pressing an issue, obviously, for either of them, because neither, for different reasons, are subject. Illegal immigration is not an actual direct issue in the community. Cuban Americans with the wet foot, dry foot policy. Puerto Ricans, of course, are citizens. So let me ask you, to kind of amplify what Soledad was asking, Marco Rubio, last Friday at the Hispanic Leadership Network, a conservative Hispanic group, said two things. He said it was unrealistic to deport 11 million illegal immigrants, and he said the DREAM Act, while he did not support the DREAM Act, we needed an accommodation not only for young people in the military, but young people who are pursuing higher education, both very different from your candidate, Mitt Romney. What do you make of Marco Rubio moving in a different direction on those issues?
Well, see, I've always been on that side of the equation. I've always supported the DREAM Act. I'm a co-sponsor of the DREAM Act. So there, obviously, Governor Romney is a much more of a hard-line stance than I do. But I think what you're going to see, so yeah, obviously, is it a challenge? And if the rhetoric gets really nasty, it becomes problematic. However, I still think that issue number one, when I'm out there speaking to people, and I don't care where in the country it is, issue number one is the economy, stupid, as Clinton would say. So as long as the rhetoric doesn't get crazy, and I don't think it will, because I think Governor Romney understands it. He's a sensible man. He's a reasonable man. But I think what people are looking for, they're looking for a turnaround artist, an expert who can turn this economy around. Look, it's really sad, and I'm sure you all reported on it, even illegals are not coming into the United States now because they can't find jobs. It's how desperate the job situation is in the United States. Until we fix that, everything else, education, which is hugely important to Hispanics and everybody else. National security, hugely important for Hispanics and everybody else. Until we fix the economy, none of the rest is possible.
We don't have a lot of time.
Tom Davis, we carried the governor carried the vote in the Republican primary, but over half the Hispanics in Florida are registered Democrat independent. What's his prospect there? How much will immigration be an issue vis-a-vis the economy as you look at the general election in Florida?
Immigration is a sensitive topic. Here's the problem that the president is also going to have. Remember, he promised multiple times that in the first 12 months that he would present and have passed, when he controlled the House and the Senate, a global immigration reform. He hasn't done so. He only remembers that Hispanics exist election time. So on one side, you have Mitt Romney, who has a very hard line on immigration, on illegal immigration, not on legal immigration. And on the other hand, you have a president who speaks a good game, but who frankly has been a huge disappointment for Hispanics because they don't trust him about what he says anymore. So I think there's a great opportunity for Mitt Romney to get a huge portion of the Hispanics, because again, I think they basically neutralize each other, and the issue is going to be jobs, jobs, jobs.
That's interesting. You're basically saying it is going to be a battle in that state. All right, nice to see you, Congressman Mario Diaz-Balart, reminding us that Hispanics can think on their own.